Welcome everyone to Respawn Aim Fire, episode 238. The Kick-Ass Irreverent Gaming Podcast brought to you by Affable Idiots. I'm one of your hosts, Chad Michaelinis, and we have also here Adam Peabody Award-winning scientist, Gumby. How you doing, Adam?
We learned about those. Yeah, we learned about those crabs that are in your blood. I won the award for that one. It's scary. Watch out. They'll get you.
Blood crabs?
Blood crabs will get you real bad.
Oh, if you're watching the YouTube version today, you are in for a special treat. If you're not watching the YouTube version, throw your phone in the river and then go find someone else's phone and go to YouTube and look at our faces. If you have been listening for the past couple episodes, you know that we made predictions about what would win at the Game Awards. And the deal was whoever got the most incorrect would have to do an entire episode with their face as Jeff Keighley from The Muppets Haunted Mansion. And we tied. So instead of both of us being Jeff Keighley, we both had to do one half of our faces. So as you can definitely tell, we're both statues of Jeff Keighley from The Muppets Haunted Mansion. It's indistinguishable from the movie itself. And, well, I just had to take it a step further because we didn't stipulate what we had to do to the other half of our face. So I'm also a pirate mermaid today.
You didn't have to do anything to the other side. You chose to.
I chose to. I had the face paint already, and I said, well, I'm not going to say they were just half a regular face. What do people face paint? And people face paint pirates. People face paint mermaids. And so I imagined a world, which is not too far. If you think about it, mermaids, they are the sirens of the sea.
Yep.
Right? And they're like, oh, come here, Mr. Pirate. And the pirate goes there. He's like, I'm going to fuck that mermaid. And then they get up close, and it turns out, I'm a pterodactyl. And they eat them. That's like traditionally fairy tale, like Grimm's fairy, like those are mermaids. Pirates of the Caribbean 4 is an excellent example. Like they will eat your fucking face off. I can imagine a scenario in which a pirate successfully boinked a mermaid. Mermaid had said pirate baby, and half of it looks like this. The other half looks like Jeff Keighley from the Game Awards.
You know what's really funny? Watch Pirates of the Caribbean 4. You're kind of onto something. Maybe that happens in the movie. A man pirate and a female mermaid maybe fall in love. I don't know.
Who knows? I was going to go off on a tangent about Pirates of the Caribbean 4, but I'll pass on that. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We've got a lot today, including an opportunity for you to win money from us. Cash money in the form of game credit to a service of your choice coming soon. And by soon, I mean you have to listen to the end of the podcast. So listen along with us. There's no way to skip forward. We've disabled that via our RSS feed. So you have to listen to the whole show today. Coming up, though, we've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, such as a Splinter Cell remake coming, confirmed. Sony's efforts to try to make indies happy. Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay information. But we're going to start today with our main quest. I'm sorry, my face feels sticky.
I don't want to move my mouth at all.
As soon as you say that, we both move our mouths so much. Dallas in the chat here, DF and Smitty says, you guys look incredible and you both lost. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Technically.
We're going to start with our main quest tonight, which is all about Final Fantasy VII Remake, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's not necessarily going great over there for Final Fantasy VII Remake on PC. We've got 3 stories coming from a variety of places to talk about. The first one, happy doodah if you are a PS Plus owner of Final Fantasy VII Remake. You're getting a free upgrade to the next-gen version. I can see via Adam's thumb that includes him. He is in that boat. If you also jumped on that boat, you might be a pirate on his way to go blink a mermaid and have someone who looks half like me. But if all of y'all are in the boat back in March of 2021, if you said, I don't think I'm going to pick up Final Fantasy VII Remake at launch because I'm a bad person. And then March 2021 rolls around and you're like, oh, look, I get it for free as part of my subscription to PlayStation Plus. You were probably so excited to get the PS4 version of this game. And then Square Enix at the same time said, guess what, y'all? There's a brand new sexier version of this game coming to PS5. And guess what? All y'all freeloaders don't get it. You have to buy the game to get the upgrade. Well, guess who went back on their word? Square Enix did, and I just learned how to snap, so I'm going to snap every word now. Square Enix is now giving everyone who got the free version of the PS4 game a free upgrade to the PS5 version starting this Wednesday, December 22nd, as a little Christmas cheer miracle. In addition, if you want, this, by the way, does not include the intergrade intermission episode featuring Yuffie. So if you want that, you can also purchase that at the same time for 25% off, starting that same day for a limited time. And so that's it. That's a wonderful little treat. So you're welcome, everyone out there. Adam, you included. You get to play the sexy 60 frames per second version, the 4K version, whatever the hell you want. It's just so good.
That's great. I love that they did this because it was, again, I was like, I'm not going to complain because it's free, but you should give me the good version because I do have a PS5. So it's nice that they finally, 6 months later, decided to give it to us. And it was weird because it's like, yeah, if you had it, it was like a real hard workaround to be able to get it, like the PS5 version. If you had the PS4 free version in your library,
yeah,
it was weird. But again, I'm happy. And the Yuffie stuff, I mean, I just want to play the main game, so maybe I'll buy Yuffie later. But it's nice that I don't have to get the full upgraded version to play the game, in its PS5 goodness. So thank you. Good job, Square Enix. You did so good. There's nothing you could have done in the last week to make people upset.
What's interesting, you brought this up last week when we talked about Uncharted Lost Legacy, the Uncharted 4 collection coming to PS5. It's a very similar thing where if you have it free through the PS Plus collection, you don't get the upgrade. You have to pay $10 for it. Or you have to pay the full whatever for it. So like it's cool that Square Enix is like, hey, you know what? That's dumb. Take this stuff for free, y'all. But that's not all good news for Final Fantasy VII Remake. There's some indifferent news, apparently. Like if you're a Steam user, great, this is good for you. If you're not, who cares? But the PC version of Final Fantasy VII Intergrade is headed to Steam, apparently. There are some clues from the game's files, which again just got released on Epic Games Store. Someone named Atelier Tool, Atelier Tool on Twitter, says that buried in the game's files is something called Steam App ID, which is something that every game that's on Steam's platform has to have. The App ID was apparently also created way back in October of last year, which is about 6 months after the game released on PS4. And then also, when you're downloading the PC version, it contains a Steamworks folder, which, no, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that the bathhouse in Boys Town in Chicago, Steamworks, where all of the free-thinking people in Chicago go to take baths together and make sexual advances upon each other? No. Steamworks is a folder among all the files in your game that houses the Steam-related stuff for the Steam PC client for Valve.
So it's not the sex bathhouse.
Not the sex bathhouse. Not at all. But I can see how you would make that mistake.
I mean, everyone knows about Steamworks in Chicago.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Yeah. So that both of these basically just point to the fact that, hey, this exclusivity with Epic Games Store right now is likely just temporary, like most other exclusivities with Epic Games Store. And so this is probably already ready to go. I imagine Steam only has to push a button and it goes live just whenever Square Enix says it can.
The fun thing about this, before I was a PC gamer, I remember when the Epic Games Store came into prominence and all the people on the internet was like, we don't like it, boo, it sucks. I'm like, what are you complaining about? It's a different store. It's not a big deal. And then I got a PC and I was like, you know what? This Epic Games Store, not my favorite thing. It's nice that they give you free games and the exclusive deals are good because it helps people make games that maybe couldn't afford them before. Because Epic just throws millions of dollars at people. They're like, we get exclusive for 6 months and we'll fund the rest of your development. I'm like, cool, awesome for them. Let me know when it comes to Steam so I can buy it in a store that I prefer.
They actually just got a shopping cart functionality the other day. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, wow. It's only been 2 years.
I know.
Crazy.
But while the game might be coming to Steam, you might not want it on PC yet because Final Fantasy VII PC is called, quote, the worst AAA PC port in a long time. There's a journalist by the name of Alex Battaglia of Digital Foundry, so he knows a thing or two about technology and video games. Tweeted a ton of issues that he's having. He's technically not covering the game necessarily for Digital Foundry, but he is tweeting about his experience with it. On December 17th, one day after it released on the Epic Games Store. Here's a couple of quotes. As I mentioned, I'm not covering Final Fantasy VII Remake, yet the stutters that happen as you immediately get in-game rendered graphics are just unacceptable. Anyone testing and playing this game on PC before release should surely realize that your cinematic game should not do that. He later also tweeted that there's an incredible stutter even when the game is in default mode, like not like tricked out super PC mode, even just regular default mode, there's a ton of stuttering going on. And if you look into the article too, there's even a little bit of like you can tell that the game itself doesn't know that it's slowing down, but the frame rate, like they did this frame rate testing, and the frame rate didn't show that it was dipping much, although it was stuttering really hardcore. So another Digital Foundry journalist, John Linneman, corroborated the report, stating that, quote, the smooth presentation was central to its storytelling, and this version compromises it. Finally, Alex wraps up saying, I humbly submit that no one should buy it. Now, Adam, I'm not one to be a conspiracy theorist, but I can't help but think that Square Enix botched the PC port for the Epic Games Store to make Epic Games look crappy, so that when it finally does come to Steam, they patch it in time, and then it releases on Steam. It was like, oh, Steam's the better version of the game. Am I wrong?
I don't think Square Enix care where they get their money from, so I don't necessarily. To me, that just it speaks of like, hey, can somebody port this? And I'm like, I guess. What's Jeff doing in accounting? He can do it, I suppose. It's just, it's not even that like. So porting has been a thing, you know, like people get games on PC that work fantastic on PC, and console ones get less ports. Sometimes it goes the other way. Just for the guys from Digital Foundry, like again, this is their job, is like how technically well do things perform across. You know, this is the go-to source, and they just literally said this is the worst AAA PC port I've seen for years, and you shouldn't get it. Like, that's bad. Yeah. That's real bad. And like the fact, like you said, the game doesn't even know that it's awful. It's like, oh no, dude, you got 60 frames, and it's like that's 10. Yeah. What are you talking about? It's like, no, 60. We're good, fam. It seems like somebody didn't put any time or thought into the port. They were just like, hey, we got a PS5 version, put it on PC, and it's weird. And normally don't, like, you'll see like there's issues where things aren't like perfect. Like I remember like Deathloop when it launched, like had a little bit of issues here and there, but not to the point where it's like, oh, here's a cutscene and the game crashes kind of a thing. So somebody just did not do their job at all. So that's rough.
Woof. Which is a shame, because that game is fantastic. And if that's the first way that you experience it is with that performance issue, then hey, go pick it up free on PlayStation 5 and get the free upgrade next Wednesday. That's the better way to play it right now.
That's what I'll have to do. I would also, I didn't include it in the story, but Square Enix, you know, we're used to spending $70 on next gen exclusives, right? Like all PS, well, except for you can get Horizon if you do a little cheat around. But
that's right.
A lot of them are $70 now, and it's like, you know, they're like, oh, these are truly next gen experiences. Game's been the same price for a long time. This one is $70 on PC, which never happens because PC is always cheaper.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of quotes where like, yeah, we think it's worth it. And it's like, is it? Because apparently it doesn't work. So I don't think it's worth the $70.
Yeah.
PC, games on PC aren't that expensive.
Not only are they not that expensive, but like the whole conceit of the Epic Games Store when it was created and their developer percentage was that like, hey, developers don't have to pay as much to us, the Epic Games Store, therefore they can charge less for their games. Stop talking to me, HomePod. Thank you. Didn't get that. Jesus.
Awesome. But this is a classic Square Enix thing, right? This is the company that said, you know, 9 million copies of Tomb Raider, that game's a failure. It's like, excuse me? So Square Enix is just a weird company, just in general.
They make
just
some
how
great
they deal with
stuff,
sales.
But
they do make some good stuff. But they're just weird with how their sales projections and how they do business has always been weird to me. So,
all in all, Final Fantasy VII Remake is now accessible to a lot more people. And for that, I'm happy. Let's move on to Playtime, where we talk about what we played this week. Adam, it seems like every frickin' week you're playing a trillion new games that I've never even heard of that somehow are amazing. And yet again, like, how am I someone who sits here and covers the game industry every single week with you, and I still have no idea what these games are? Tell me about them.
You're a scrub. That's what it is. No, I'm just kidding. You're fine. Oh, well, the number one thing is I saw Spider-Man. Everyone watched Spider-Man.
Yes,
Spider-Man's great.
go see Spider-Man.
It's a fun time.
Spider-Man's the best. I don't see it on the biggest
That's
screen
my number one thing. Yep. And then December 22nd, Matrix Resurrections.
Do you know what launches? It's very family friendly. In fact, it's something that's really great for all ages. Is The Matrix Resurrections on December 22nd? It's dropping on HBO Max as well as playing in theaters. And
HBO Max.
It's a great time. You can go see it. I encourage you to. With the whole everyone
I can
in
take
your
my family, huh?
You can take your whole family.
Oh.
I tell you what. It's going to be around the holidays. Invite everyone over and say, hey, everyone, instead of sitting around the table and looking at each other's faces for Christmas dinner, why don't we watch The Matrix Resurrections in the living room? I'll get our 3 TV dinner trays out, and we can all take turns moving the tray back and forth and watching the other person eat while we all view The Matrix Resurrections together on HBO Max in our living rooms on December 22nd as a family.
Oh, it's fantastic. A quick aside, besides Spider-Man and Matrix, there is a clip of Keanu, because, Keanu's been doing, him and Carrie-Ann Moss have been doing tons of press for the movie, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a clip of, someone asked Keanu a question, and I don't remember what the question was, but then he starts to laugh, and everyone, you should get on Black Twitter, because Black Twitter is great. And they said that Keanu Reeves had the black uncle laugh, where he, went on the side, he's like, there's, a way that everyone did, a black uncle. He's like, and he was, slapping his, Keanu, you've never been more black in your life, and that's fantastic. Welcome to the club, buddy. It's, if you can just look for, Keanu Reeves black uncle laugh, and you'll find it's a 15-second clip, and it's phenomenal.
All right.
But speaking of black uncles, I've continued to, this has nothing to do with that. I think it's called a Wilder Myth, or Wilder Myth, something like that. It is a PC game that was in early access and came out in full this year. And I was looking at Game of the Year list from different publications because, it's getting that time of year. And I'm like, what do people think was good? So I need to play stuff. And this game was on a lot of lists for best strategy, best RPG, that kind of a thing. And Wildermyth is also coming to Switch next year. So for people who don't have PC,
oh, sweet.
Be looking forward to that. I played it and the game is fantastic. And yeah, I can see why it gets 9s all over the place. Basically what the game is, if you ever played D&D, I think their whole conceit of, you've ever sat down and played a tabletop game where it's hey, the best part of it is that you're playing with somebody who's bouncing your ideas off of you, right? So it's about having choices and have things affected. And so basically it is a strategy RPG that has a procedural story. And so basically it plays out like a storybook. Your characters are you're writing your story in a storybook. And your characters go in and you start low level and you build up or whatever. But there's tons of choices. It's based on their personalities. It's oh, this person is adventurous and romantic. So they want to go out and fight the bad guys. And they also want to flirt a little bit. And then your characters, they get older as you play the game. And then they can have relationships with each other. They can have children with each other. And then eventually they're well, we're 50 years old. We're retiring as adventurers. And they've got this cool gear and they're leveled up and everything. And then you bring in your next level of adventurers and you keep writing the story. And they're oh, I heard about you. You're in all the stories. And then randomly, your 55-year-old hero will come and help your new party. It's like a procedural strategy RPG that just keeps building on itself. And it's just here's just the game is making you a story and you play through the story. It's a choose your own adventure, but an RPG on PC, and it's fucking fantastic, and everyone should play it.
That's awesome. Can you do me a favor, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the Google images for this game.
Yeah.
I've just Googled Wildermyth, and I'm looking at the official title of it in its text treatment, and whatever they're doing with the W. I can tell you what I think the W is here. In Wildermyth. Mm-hmm. I think it's a couple of big old saggy titties with either trumpets sticking out of them or gun stocks sticking out as nipples on these big old titties. And that's just the funny Chad. But I also don't know what they're actually supposed to be other than big old saggy titties or a big juicy butt. What is the W? As someone who's played the game and knows a little bit about the backstory of the game, what is that? What is this supposed to represent?
It means adventure, right? You get a book. Like the Wilder Myth is a book in the game, and you look at that title, you're telling me you're not interested, and you don't want to open up that book and learn about the stories inside.
But what is the W? What are the titties or butt with the gun stock sticking out of them?
I have no idea. I could not tell you anything about that. But you're seeing the art style. It's pop-up book. It is straight up like flat paper characters in like a 3D world. It's very cool.
Dope.
So enjoy the titties of the cover of the book. The book is very important in the game.
Titties are good.
Maybe there's lore about the titty W. I don't know. I'll have to tell you. And then I played more Inscription. God, I can't wait for that game to come more places. You need to play. Hey, Chad, remember whenever I said Inscription was good and you were like, oh, I wish I had a PC or whatever. Yeah. Chad, you need to, whenever you get a chance, play Inscription the minute you can.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Yes, sir.
It is fantastic. If not, the other half will come for you.
The pirate mermaid half?
Yeah, it's going to come and get you. Everyone, God, I can't wait for Inscription to come more places. It's how I felt like with Loop Hero. I'm like, man, this game is great. I can't wait people playing on Switch. And now a bunch of people are getting on Switch. They're like, Loop Hero's great. Like, yeah, I said that months ago, but I'm glad that you're playing it now.
I've been wanting to play Inscription so bad that like I actually opened up Steam on my Mac just to make sure that I couldn't play it on my Mac. And I can't.
Isn't there like a Windows for Mac like thing you can do?
And you can buy a Windows license and I can partition part of my hard drive as Windows, or I can, emulate Windows and VMware, but no. I'd have to buy Windows and it's a big old mess.
It's a thing. But yeah, whenever that comes to Switch and other places, God, everyone play Inscription if you can. It is, I can't say anything about it because I don't want to ruin it, but man, that game goes places and it's very good. And then last, I played Artful Escape because that was on the Game Awards stuff and people were like, I like Artful Escape. And Artful Escape is very pretty. It's fantastic. So remember how, what is it? That game that's really long and boring with the Octopath Traveler.
Sure.
It's way too long. It's a fine game. It's way too long. So Octopath has that. It's the 2.5D where it's like layered, but then it's like sprite based stuff. Artful Escape is that 2.5 layered style, but just in modern day art, and it's very, very pretty. And it's about a boy who wants to be a rock star, and he goes to space and becomes a rock star. And Carl Weathers is the voice in it.
Oh, dope.
And
you got a stew
he's not even the most famous. Mark Strong's in it, I believe. Leah Headey. It's got a lot of famous actors in it. And I was playing that game because, people said it was good. It's 3.5 hours. I got an hour into it and said, I'm done playing this game. I do not like Artful Escape. It is very pretty. The music is really cool, but the game has basically no gameplay. It's walk left to right and then like hold down X. And that's basically there are sections where you do like a Simon Says, like you have like guitar keys. So it's like X, Y, B, right bumper, and then you play the song. But that's so few and far between. It's honestly 80% of that game is just walking and then maybe holding X, make things come light up.
That's how
I wish the game was more fun.
The Night of nope, that's a HBO drama. The night it's the one where you're a cat.
Cool Cat?
A Night Out? Cat game, I don't know. A Night Out. Let's see what that brings up on Google. Party
Is
cat.
That where you just like walk around as a cat?
No. Game where you play as a cat who likes music. What is this game?
I have no idea.
The night of the night. Fuck. It's a game. Indie game. Like everyone's animals, but you're like humanoid. You're personified, and you have all like. I don't know. It's like you're a teen or something like that, and you play guitar. Or something.
Okay. Oh, Night in the Woods.
Night in the Woods. Yes. Thank you.
There you go.
Night in the Woods. I was like, man, I wasn't
so thinking of
anthropomorphized
animals. Yeah. That's another thing. I like Night in the Woods, and then it started to get a little long. I was like, all right, I'm doing a lot of walking, not a lot of mystery here. It eventually gets good, but it takes very long to get interesting. This one, I was like, isn't interesting. And for a 3.5 hour game, I was just like, no, it's very pretty. I like the music, but you literally just move to the right.
Yeah.
That's the gameplay part of it. And some people are like, it's great, but I know people will hate this game if you're not into this kind of thing. And I'm like, I am not that person. So I tried it.
You mentioned Mark Strong's in it. And there's a movie that's coming out on December 22nd called The Kingsman, which is a movie that Mark Strong was in the original 2 movies. He's not in this one because it's a prequel. But The Kingsman is coming December 22nd. It's not a family film, but it is available in theaters. I suggest don't see it as a family, but perhaps see it individually. Go at different times of day so that your paths don't cross.
But yeah, good cast, but I'm good. No, thank you.
I will stay away.
What about you?
Let me tell you something, Adam.
Mm-hmm. Yarr.
I want you to think about when people want to feel powerful. And if you think about the ways that people make themselves feel powerful, so maybe you're the kind of person that comes home and you're like, I'm going to have such good sex I'm going to do good sex to my partner. Yeah. Joyce, get over here. We're doing good sex in the afternoon today because I want to see myself with the lights on doing it good. That's how some people say, I'm powerful. I feel so powerful right now. Some people like to go buy a bunch of gaudy things that are very expensive and then wear them into a homeless shelter and say, you can't afford this. And that's how they feel powerful. I play Beat Saber. And when I play Beat Saber, I feel fucking invincible. Like no one can do anything to me and I'm fucking perfect.
Aren't you number 4 or is it number 3? I saw your pinned tweet.
My pinned tweet at one point in time, I haven't checked back in on the score on this song because I haven't played it in a very long time, but at one point in time, I was number 4 in the world. Don't want to brag. Ooh. Jeff Keighley. Wait, is this side to my face is Jeff Keighley. That side's the pirate.
Yeah, that's your Keighley side.
Yeah. Yes, at one time I was number 4 in the world on the Crab Rave song in Beat Saber. But a little tiny story. The PlayStation VR originally launched, and it has a little breakout box that you have to attach everything through, and you have to unplug the HDMI from your PlayStation and route it all through there. It didn't support HDR. So when PS4 Pro launched and HDR also came to PlayStation 4, they put a new version of PSVR out that had that allowed you to continue to leave it plugged in and still enjoy HDR content through your games on the TV. Dope. I traded my PSVR for a red guitar so I could call the guitar Kratos. And then I bought the new version of it with HDR pass-through. So I could leave it all set up in my entertainment center and not have to worry about switching it out because it's a pain in the butt. There are already 50,000 cables for PSVR. Having to undo them and redo them every time you want to play it. I'm not going to do that. Fast forward to PlayStation 5, which has HDMI 2.1, 120 hertz. Surprise. The breakout box from 3 years ago does not have HDMI 2.1 on it. So I did not hook up my PSVR when I moved into this new apartment 6 months ago. And this was the first time that I decided, I created my entertainment center, cable managed all the shit out of it. It was like, all right, I haven't played Beat Saber in so long. There's a Billie Eilish pack that's out. There's a Lady Gaga pack they announced during the Game Awards. And like, I've bought every single music pack. I've played through them all. I had a ton of fun. I didn't know who BTS was, but now Dynamite is one of my like freaking favorite songs to play on that thing because it's so fun. So I was like, I want to explore the rest of these. It was the largest pain in my ass to get it was disgusting what I had to do to get all of these different cables routed all over the place so I could plug it in for 30 minutes of Beat Saber and then put it all away after. But for that 30 minutes, I felt powerful.
You were God.
Yeah, I was a god. And it felt so good again to be back in it. And I got in there and normally when I'm playing a song, I'm so good now that when I play it for the first time, so booting up one of these Billie Eilish songs, I usually play it on expert level and I play it on the faster song setting for the first time. And usually I come out of that with either an A or an S rank because I'm so good. But now there's a faster song, like faster song level.
Faster?
Yeah,
is that the fastest you can go?
It's like fastest. And so I was like, fuck, I'm going to do that. I didn't know this was a thing. So now I can play it on even more sped up and it's even more fun going back and playing other things. And I'm blasting through Expert Plus stuff and it's just a good time. If you haven't played Beat Saber, if you don't have a way to play Beat Saber, don't buy the upgrade for Final Fantasy VII Remake. You go buy Beat Saber and a VR headset instead and do that.
That's $300 or whatever. Question.
But it's good, yes.
Is it on MetaQuest now because it's a different name? Is it on Quest?
And in fact,
I'm
not excited, but Facebook/Meta owns the company now who made Beat Saber. They bought the Beat Saber developers. So
Interesting.
I'm sure future iterations of Beat Saber will not come to PlayStation stuff and will be Quest exclusive, which sucks.
I do have a Quest 2, so I think I can actually play that. I've always been meaning to play it. It's always been like the best looking VR experience that's ever been out there. Question though, is Duel of the Fates in the game?
It is not. But you have the Quest 2, which you can hook up to your PC via the Steam Link or Oculus Link or whatever.
A lot of mods, right?
And there you can have, I'm sure someone has created a Beat Saber level for Duel of the Fates that you can do.
I mean, that's literally perfect, right?
Yeah.
Beat Saber, it's just lightsabers. So having Duel of the Fates is perfect. Yeah, I need to try that out because that game's always looked really cool. I just never was like, I can't play it. It's like, oh, my son has owned Oculus Quest 2 for about a year. Just haven't even asked him about it.
There, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best VR experience, hands down. Freaking love it. I also played the Halo Infinite campaign a little bit more. Last time I talked, I hadn't even gotten to the open world part, but now I'm in it. I've done basically like one of every type of mission on there. So like there's I'm loving the fact that there are certain points on the map where it's like, oh, you have to take out this particular person and they're infamous for this. And after that, you unlock this like slight variation on a plasma pistol or a slight variation on the assault rifle or whatever it might be. I was like, that's really cool that I'm like able to customize these weapons a little bit more, that I'm able to upgrade certain things. The Spartan, forget what they call
cores?
The Spartan cores, yeah. And to have like actual customizable and upgradable skills, like my grapple hook, which again, this is not a shooting game. If you're shooting in this game, you're doing it wrong. You have to grapple, you have to punch, and then you grapple some more. And then now I can grapple and it stuns them. Or I grapple and a big old energy wave like hits people. And I'm having so much fun with the Halo Infinite campaign.
Yeah, and that thing all the way up is the best. The grapple hook or grapple shot, whatever it's called. Yeah, it's fantastic.
But the whole time I was playing it through this open world and just like going to fob after fob, taking them over and making them mine, it's like, God, I'd love to be doing this with the boys. I'd love to be able to co-op through the Halo Infinite stuff. I mean, the multiplayer is great, awesome, but like co-op campaign, I can't wait to play through this again with them. Speaking of Xbox, I didn't realize this came out, but I watched the whole thing, all 6 episodes of Power On, the Xbox Untold Story or whatever it is, the Microsoft documentary on Xbox. It's really interesting, really cool. They cover everything from like the concept of it and why they decided they needed to make a game engine or a game console, because the PlayStation was like, Sony's going to now invade the living room and Microsoft's not going to have a PC in the living room, and what are we going to do? So Sony's going to conquer the house, so we need to respond to that, all the way through like Red Ring of Death and Connect and all of that fiasco. So it's really, really cool. 6 episodes. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, but it's technically through IMDb TV, which is a fucking awful platform. And so even if you're a Prime member, there are ads in the middle of it. And they're intended to be watched in 40-minute sittings per episode. And so there's not an ad break in there. So like IMDb TV will just interrupt someone mid-sentence to show you 2 ads and then jump you right back in the middle of their sentence. It's like, God damn it.
Is it not on YouTube?
Oh, maybe it's on YouTube too. I don't know. I just searched on it on my TV.
On your TV, yeah. I've been needing to watch it. I realized it came out and I just haven't watched it yet. It seems I like every time someone makes a documentary, it's like, oh, God of War documentary. That's awesome.
Oh God, yeah, that sounds great.
We're going to find all the ET cartridges in a landfill. Fucking I'm in. Let's go.
Yep. And then finally, the Dawning came to Destiny 2 again this week. And the Dawning is a Christmas or holiday-inspired event every year where you just spread cheer. And there's so many great things. You visit this old, thirsty, horny lady in the tower, and she's just like, nice. Oh, hello, Guardian. Oh, give a little cheer. And then she's like, make me a butterscotch cookie. And then you do. And
that's
she's
very
like,
sexual.
She's so sexual. She's, Ava Levante is her name. Wait, yes. We call her Ava Longoria or Ava Mendez, but her real name's Ava Levante. But it's fantastic, and I realized playing it this year in particular, I was like, I just fucking love everything's so happy. You're running around there, snowballs now in a bunch of different, like especially like end game, really tough content. There's now just snowballs all over the place that you throw at enemies, and it like slows them down, and it's fun. But you're just making cookies, and there are a couple of quests about. Over the last year, there have been like a couple of, each season has like its own villain. And so one of them's like this Elixir race, and one of them's this Keitel Cabal champion person. And the quests this year are all about like, hey, we've reconciled with these people, and they're good people, and they're a part of our team now. We want to figure out, what do they eat? Because like our random stuff that we eat as humans, or like that's not what they eat or they enjoy. So I want to make them a cookie they're gonna like. So like, go try to figure out what is Keitel like, so that we can make them the perfect cookie and make them feel welcome during the dawning. I was like, oh, what a fucking just good, wholesome, warm little event. Just making fucking cookies. I love it. But of course, the core gameplay of Destiny 2 is killing. So it's like, all right, to figure out what the Cabal like, go kill 25 Cabal. And then you'll unlock this recipe.
Search their corpses for what their favorite cookies are.
Yeah. But I love it. But twist! This brings us into a game on game show for this week. The game show on our gaming show, we play a game called Game On. The game on game. Adam.
Yeah.
Around holiday events, I would love for us to take a moment and determine what a holiday event would look like in a couple of games that don't currently have one.
Okay.
That's our game before we get into the rest of the news about Breath of the Wild 2 and whatever else fucking happened this week. So what I would love for us to do is just each pick a game, and then together we determine, hey, what does a wholesome, wonderful holiday event look like in this game?
Okay. I've got some in mind already.
Oh, you do? Let's hear it. Let's go for it.
Jurassic World Evolution.
Jurassic World Evolution. Okay.
Christmas time in the park.
Obviously, decorations on the animal cages.
Mm-hmm.
What if we feed them? So you normally have to feed them like goats and shit like that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So instead of goats, what if we feed them like goats dressed in gingerbread? Like we put them like, okay, you know, like a little playhouse like you would have for little kids outside, and they go and play and pretend to be house and whatever. You put like 3 goats in there, and then you just, but it's a gingerbread house, and then you just let the T-Rex just fucking go eat house after house. But you have to, like, of course, build up the houses yourself and put them in the pens.
Put them together and put them in there. Or, so the way that Jurassic World works is you like go out on expeditions, you get fossils, and once you get enough, you like, you know, get DNA from the fossils, and the more you get, the higher percentage you have of a hatch working. So it's basically just gather more resources and you'll have a better success, and you can modify the genes. What if like the end game the final reward is that it's like, oh, new fossil discovered. It appears to be, you know, a quadrupedal animal in the prehistoric era, and it's a fucking reindeer. So at the end, you just get a reindeer, and you can put it in your Jurassic Park, and they break out and kill the guests.
Just running around with guests impaled on their antlers.
Yeah, they get out really easy because they can jump the fences. They don't have to worry about the electric fences. They can just jump it. They fly, and they can kill your guest. They're a nuisance. They have an alpha, which is Rudolph, of course.
Is that a mechanic in the game? An alpha?
Well, the raptors specifically, they have to be around other raptors that they fucking go ape shit, and one of them asserts dominance. They're like, yo, I'm the big bad. They're like, yeah, you're right. Let's follow Blue. So yeah, just have it with reindeer. Because again, the best part of the game, of course, is making a functioning park, but also when shit goes wrong. So the reindeer are really fun, but there's like a certain, normally because, you know, reindeer are herbivores, but, you know, maybe the end game content is you get the carnivore version of the reindeer and have that in your park. Have fun.
I love that. Did you, speaking of herbivores and reindeers, did you ever in like elementary school get conned into buying reindeer grass or reindeer food, and it was just like dried up grass in a Ziploc bag?
We made it. We didn't get conned into buying it, but I think like kindergarten or first grade or something, it was like, make reindeer food. And yeah, it was like grass and glitter or some bullshit. Some fucking dumb. No, just go throw it in your yard.
I'm pretty sure we bought ours. Like it was a fundraiser. It was like, hey, pay $2 and buy reindeer food for Santa's reindeer and put it out with the cookies.
It's a scam.
So yeah, and it's just literally somebody went out in their backyard and just got a bunch of grass and put it in the microwave.
No, we had arts and crafts. We made it one year because they were like, what can I do for an hour to make these kids shut the fuck up? Make some reindeer stuff.
I love it. I have a game that I'm pretty sure does not have a holiday event around it.
Okay.
But I would love to know what a Gears of War holiday might look like. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a specific like Gears 5 or Gears of War Judgment or whatever, but like what would a Gears of War holiday look like?
I think it's cosmetics. Those big buff burly men, and just put them in like Santa gear and elf costumes and elf tights and all that good stuff.
Elf tights? Yes.
Get like a candy cane skin for your Lancer as you cut someone in half and it's just a candy cane.
Yes. What if the teeth of the saw on the Lancer are all Christmas lights?
Oh yeah, and they're just like going, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun multiplayer thing. It's like, it's Christmas time. Kill everybody. That would be fun. I like it a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have more? Because I have more ideas.
Go for it. Let's go for it.
Hold on. I got to click on my thing. I'm opening my app. Because there are certain games. So there was this game that, I don't know if it's out yet, but it's like a Thomas the Train Killer game where like this train that's got spider legs tries to kill you or whatever. It's like a weird survival game on PC.
Is it Charlie the Choo-Choo from the Dark Tower series by Stephen King?
It might actually, something like that. So my idea is to take something that is a horror and put it into the, Christmas vibe. My idea is Alien Isolation. So you're being hunted down and stalked. And if you speak into your microphone, it comes and kills you. But it's actually just a little elf. It's a little elf. Look at you, stole his toys. He's coming to get you. He's gonna kill you real bad. And he still has that alien mouth. So like when he opens it up, he grabs your head.
He's like a humanoid-looking alien, but he just or a elf, but he just opens his mouth and just
and another mouth comes out of it and blows the back of your head out. But yeah, just any kind of horror survival game and just throw in. It's like, oh man, I don't know much about Hanukkah, but just like a Hanukkah themed one. So it's like, oh, I don't know. I know they have like menorahs and stuff and dreidels, but I don't know a lot. But you could do a survival horror game where, being hunted down by a Jewish thing. I don't know.
The extent I know of Hanukkah is that it was all around like an oil lamp, and the oil lamp was only supposed to burn for one night, but the boys who were carrying it somehow burned for 8 nights instead.
8 nights, yeah.
Whoa. And hence the menorah 8 candles. So
yeah,
maybe there are 8 elves hunting you, and all of them are on
still
fire.
Elves though. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. Just take something that's terrifying and scary and just put a Christmas or holiday skin on it. It's always fun.
Yeah, that's great. What if, Dead by Daylight, same idea, but they're all like Martin Short as Jack Frost from Santa Claus.
Is Jack Frost from Santa Claus 3?
Yeah, Santa Claus 3.
And then you could get the Jack Frost, the Michael Keaton movie, where he's a dad.
He's a dad who becomes a snowman, yes.
Also, alternate costume, the Jack Frost horror movie, which is also called Jack Frost, but it's about a serial killer who becomes a snowman.
Yes.
I think his dick's a carrot or something. I think he tries to fuck somebody in that movie. So just all of the corny, holiday themed horror movies are in Dead by Daylight.
Yes. And one of them was also Joe
and Michael
Pesci.
Keaton. Yeah.
Joe Pesci as a wet bandit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He's coming to get you. Coming to kill you. Yeah, you could be Kevin McAllister then as one of the survivors.
Oh, that would be so fantastic.
He'd be one of the killers, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Dope. It was a fun little twist in our normal episode. Thanks for going on that journey with me. We've got a few
Jeff
news
Keighley
stories
approved.
here before we get to money. That's right. You want money? You want games? Wait, which side of my face? This side of my face is Jeff
There you
Keighley.
go. That's good. Now we're full Jeff Keighley.
Keighley to Keighley. It's like Jungle to Jungle, starring Tim Allen and Mimi Siku. But it's Keighley looking at Keighley. This is a joke for the 9 people who watch us on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into the rest of our quest log. First, starting with Holden is Dead, Long Live Holden. His memorial segment, Breath of the Wild 2. Possible gameplay features. This comes to us from Jared Moore at IGN. There are patents that have been filed by Nintendo that appear to hint at gameplay features for the upcoming sequel of the yet untitled Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 sequel. What's interesting to me, I didn't understand that, like, you patent game features, like gameplay features. I didn't know that's something you have to patent, but apparently it is. But
So real quick about that, I don't remember. I listened to so many freaking podcasts. I don't remember which one. Somebody mentioned about the Wonder Woman game that the Nemesis system is in the Wonder Woman game. I think because it's Monolith. I don't know if that was true or someone was just speculating. I don't remember. Someone said Nemesis system in Wonder Woman. Remember, Nemesis is patented. So
that's the one
I guess
thing
you do have to patent your gameplay.
That was patented. But like these things, I didn't realize this is something you could patent. Let's talk about them. So as spotted by Game Reactor, Nintendo recently filed 3 new patents with the World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO, as I like to say, that appear to detail gameplay mechanics set to feature in Breath of the Wild's sequel. So there are 3 of them. Each one comes with their own diagram, kind of showing a character performing the actions. The first one is unofficially being referred to by the community as free falling, and it describes it describes a player playing as John Mayer, and John Mayer laments about being a dad, as most of his songs are about. They describe a move performed by the player Link that will cause him to perform a special action while moving through the air and shooting an arrow toward an object. Second one is an action where the player is able to pass through solid objects positioned above them, which again, I didn't realize that's something you can patent. No one else is allowed to move through solid objects above you. And finally, the final patent is the ability to affect movement-related parameters on objects in the game, so as to return such items to their previously recorded positions. Or basically, you can turn back time on an object so it returns the position it once was. Now, I just played recently God of War Ascension, that hit blockbuster title.
Everyone loved it.
Trophy. And there is a mechanic in that one that seems very similar to what Nintendo just patented, where you have like an old state of like a bridge or a building, and then like a future state, and you can move in between those two. So like, oh man, I get here and I can't pass because the bridge is broken. Well, let me just rewind the bridge to when it was back and alive and wonderful. That's kind of what this sounds like to me.
It Takes Two. They literally, one of the powers, you get a rewind time.
Yeah.
So I'm not a patent lawyer. Never claimed to be.
Show me your license.
Yeah, I'll show you not my paperwork. I assume it's just a thing you have to do regardless. If like you clearly don't own the idea. No idea is original. No one actually owns an idea. But I think you just have to be like, okay, this is going to be in our game. So in case this becomes a thing. Again, like the Nemesis system, is like you have enemies. Like, yes, there are other games that use things similar to the Nemesis system, but it's like we own the name Nemesis system.
Right.
It's kind of that nonsense. So yeah, being able to fall through the air, Nintendo did not make that up. But I guess you just have to file a patent because you got to do it.
Dope.
But funny thing, all these things I believe were shown in that the last trailer we had, which had the gameplay stuff. Because I remember him like going through the floor up to the thing above it, and so. But maybe these are new things we'll play in the game: reversing time, jumping through floors, doing special actions in the air.
I cannot wait to see all of the different types of special actions I can do in the air while shooting an arrow at an object.
Yeah. Maybe like shoot an arrow and it hits a thing. Special action.
Special action. That's dope. Nintendo's still on track for releasing that sequel in the next 12 months. So hopefully we'll learn more about that very soon.
Mm-hmm. Where's Metroid Prime 4?
Exactly. Where's that Metroid Prime? Oh shit! I meant to talk about this during game playtime. Look at this little thing. I talked about it the other day.
You finally made it.
Yeah, I finally finished it. My little 3D printed N64. It's got a little working button.
Oh, it clicks and everything?
I got a little Super Mario 64 cartridge. I can put it in and out. And get this, the memory expansion slot, you open it up, and that's where your memory card goes.
Oh, damn. That thing is really cool.
Yeah. How freaking dope is that? And it's a fully functioning Raspberry Pi 4. So
I said there's Raspberry Pi in there. That's dope.
It's cool as shit.
Everyone get on the YouTube. That's awesome.
Dope. Let's move on. Sony wants to fix indie relationships. This comes from Rebecca Valentine at IGN, who has blocked Holden on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
You got to stop sending those dick pics.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
100%. Every Tuesday morning, like clockwork, every Tuesday morning, 10:37 a.m., big giant hog goes on Twitter and just for no reason at Rebecca Valentine.
Big old fat hog.
She just finally blocked him.
10 is too many.
For context, the information we're about to talk about comes from a much bigger article with lots of information in it, so I'd encourage you to go to IGN and read that. But this is all about Sony's relationship with indies. Earlier this summer, back in July, there were a bunch of indie publishers who publicly called out Sony for its ongoing dismissal of the immense challenges facing small developers trying to publish games on PlayStation. This was not too long after we actually got news that Shuhei Yoshida is now, like, his new position is all about relationships with indie developers and things like that too. So a lot of these issues were brought to light, and they were things like having really overly complex tools and forms. Processes for getting published on the store were unclear. There was poor communication with indie partners when it came to getting answers or guidance or issues. People didn't know where to go to or who to talk to. And a lot of times it came down to, like, you have to just know somebody in the inside if you want to get anything done. Otherwise, you're SOL. And they also expressed that while discoverability was an industry-wide issue, Sony was at best indifferent, or worst, actively adversarial to these struggles, making PlayStation a very challenging platform for indie game sales. So that was all something that was kind of revealed back in July. A bunch of indie developers all coming out and saying, hey, yeah, this has kind of been my experience with Sony as well. And so now there's this idea of reducing complexity, with Sony pledging, among other things, to improve communication channels, clarify who publishers should be taking concerns to, which is important, and then making sure to give enough detail about its operations to its partners so that they can make decisions. Sony also promised to give all of its active publishing and developing partners access to better game sales, engagement, promotion analytics, and improve discoverability, which is a huge problem. And then finally, Sony says it will modernize its toolset and improve its ticketing systems, documentation, customer service efforts, and customer service efforts for partner issues. So that's kind of what has come out and said, hey, we hear you, we understand your concerns, this is what we're doing to try to improve. Last little bit here, Acapulco Games CEO David Logan says that both Acapulco's account manager and head of PlayStation creators, Greg Rice, reached out to his company personally following the publication of the original article. Said, quote, they were obviously crushed at the news, and it was clear from the account managers that the account managers at Sony had been working hard for a long time to push through a lot of the ideas the indie developers flagged in our initial discussions. After the articles, that seemed to give us a huge boost to initiatives they had already been planning, because rapidly after Sony started rolling out a bunch of big changes. That's that kind of story in a nutshell. I think it's really great to see, one, that PlayStation recognized already, it seems, from what David Logan just said. They recognized already that there were issues with the platform. There were issues with developer relations, and that they already seemed to be planning some things, but this kind of just lit a fire under their ass. It's like, shit, people are calling us out now. Let's implement these as quickly as possible. So, like, it's good that they're aware of it and that they're starting to make some changes in response to this. So I think all around this is just, like, really good news. If you're an indie developer, or if you're someone who just, like, supports indie games and indie developers and want them to succeed on your favorite platform, this is excellent news for you.
Yep. It's real cool to see, because I remember during the summer when everyone was like, yo, this is difficult. And it kind of seems to be a problem where, like, if you're a big indie, quote, like if you got Devolver, you've got no problem. But if you're just like a dude who made a game that's like 7 and an 8, but no one's ever heard of it, it's like no one's ever going to hear of it. So it's great to see. Discoverability has been, like they said, across the industry. Because remember back during the 360, you would have like Summer of Arcade or whatever. And like, so every week, Microsoft would like, here are indie games that were highlighted. And even Microsoft didn't do it anymore, that specific program. So discoverability has always been an issue, even on PC, where it's like, if you're really, really good, you'll get noticed, but like 20 games get released on Steam every day. So it can be hard. So good for those dudes, because, not to spoil a coming out segment, but, indie games are a lot of people's games of the years. There's a lot of those games that are fantastic, and those people need to be, put forward and taken care of. And it's good to see that companies are taking it serious, because like some of the best games I played this year are from indie developers that, again, you never heard of Wilder Myth before I brought it up, but that game is fantastic and everyone should play that game, because like it deserves your time. So it's awesome to see they're making it easy for everybody.
Yeah. You know what, I speaking of discoverability, I think that's one of my favorite things about Game Pass, and that there are a lot of gripes to be had about the fact that it's 100 plus games, and games are constantly leaving the service. Games are constantly getting back onto the service. But there's some kind of benefit to be had to having a limited curated set of games. So that at any time you can jump on there and say, all right, what's on here? It's a manageable list to scroll through, find new things you didn't know were there or know that they existed. And then there's always something new to try as well. Versus like if you jump onto PlayStation Now and there's like 750 games, you are 100% not going to go just explore that list. You're going to go there with something in mind that you want to play, search for it, find it, play it. Because it's a very different experience. So
yeah, and the way that Nintendo, not the way Nintendo does, the way it works on Nintendo, it's like make your game a penny so that you get to the top of the most bought list, regardless of what your game. That's the only way to get. People have to buy your game, so make it a penny, and everyone will see our penny game, and then we can raise the price. And it's like we're number one on the most sold list, but because we were a penny for a week, and now we're back to normal price. But like that's the kind of things you got to do. So
it's the same thing that's been plaguing like the Google Play Store and the App Store. It's like the race to the bottom. Who can be the cheapest, the lowest price, so that they make it to the top of the charts and get more discoverability and that kind of stuff. So it's a problem we have to figure out industry-wide for sure. This next story here, we've got quite a few more, actually. So the next story is a big one for Adam. We've got a Splinter Cell coming. It's not a brand new game, but it is a brand new reimagining of the first game, and it's official. This comes from Darren Bonthuyes at GameSpot. Ubisoft has officially revealed that 2002's Splinter Cell will be getting a remake, with efforts led by Ubisoft Toronto. Splinter Cell will be rebuilt from the ground up using Ubisoft's own Snowdrop engine, which is currently being used by upcoming Star Wars game and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. The remake will feature dynamic lighting and shadows, which will be incorporated into the game's level design. It will also be a linear experience, as Ubisoft added that Sam Fisher's return won't take place in an open-world sandbox, so it won't be your traditional modern Ubisoft game.
Thank God.
Quote, although we're still in the very earliest stages of development, what we're trying to do is make sure the spirit of the early games remains intact in all of the ways that gave early Splinter Cell its identity, producer Matt West explained in Ubisoft's reveal post. So as we're building it from the ground up, we're going to update it visually, as well as some of the design elements to match player comfort and expectations, and we're going to keep it linear like the original games, not make it open world. However, the studio did say that there will be some changes made to the game, particularly in how Sam Fisher moves. Technical producer Pete Hendrinos said that the exploration and innovation will be key pillars of Splinter Cell Remake, while producer Matt West added that this is all part of the company's plan to redefine stealth action games and straddle, quote, the line between the spirit of the old and the comfort of the new. This is wonderful news, Adam. Wonderful. Because I've never played a Splinter Cell game. I've seen the Splinter Cell skin in Rainbow Six Siege. That's the extent of my interaction with Sam Fisher. I have always thought, you know what, I should give that a shot, but I don't want to go back and play a 2002-ass game. And there's nothing obviously modern to play. So like 1% of me has been kicking around the idea, like maybe I will go back and play a 2002. But if there's a brand new one with modern comforts built in and all that shit, but it's the same original like heart of the game, this is really exciting for me. I might actually start to give Splinter Cell a place in my body and soul.
You should put it right in there, especially because I believe Michael Ironside is back. Because the last game, Blacklist, was another guy, because I think Michael Ironside had cancer at the time or something like that. Michael Ironside, from every 80s movie, he was the bad guy, and he's got a really good, deep voice. But this is very exciting. Google him real quick. You'll reckon, like, oh, shit,
Michael
that guy?
Ironside.
He was in X-Men First Class. He was the guy on the boat at the end whenever they shot at Cuba to try to kill the mutants. Of many things that he's been in.
He's got that guy who was in that Thing face.
Absolutely. He was in Highlander 2, I believe.
Yep.
He's the bad guy in Highlander 2.
275 movies he's been an actor in.
Mm-hmm. And again, when you hear his voice, you're like, oh shit, I know this guy's voice. It's Michael Ironside.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He's very recognized. He's very good.
Movies and TV shows. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. And everything. So it's awesome. I believe he's back for it. And I like that the way that they're doing the remake. It's like, we're not going to just remake the old one. We're remaking the series, remembering what the series was. So instead of, it's like when they remake a movie, it's like, this isn't, we're not just like remastering the footage and making it 4K. We're making a new thing with the spirit of the old one, compared to a remake of some games where it's like, this is just the exact same game, but it's prettier. So I'm very excited for this. That game's about 4 years away, maybe 5, because they're just starting. Like, they literally haven't done anything yet. But yeah, modernize it, but because that game is a not hardcore stealth, but it is like a stealth action game in the way that people think that Metal Gear Solid 5 is like super, super awesome. Splinter Cell was doing that a long time before that. So I absolutely love Splinter Cell. I'm ready for 2025 when the game comes out, and I have a great time. And they're not making an open world, because I like Ubisoft games, but I do not want to play a Sam Fisher game where I have to like go to a bunch of towers and then climb them, because that's not what I want from Splinter Cell. So yeah, let's get it. See you in 5 years.
Dope. Speaking of 4 or 5 years, new Mass Effect should be real pretty. So Eddie McCucci GameSpot. New Mass Effect game will apparently run on Epic's Unreal Engine. And the BioWare producer Brennan Holmes recently tweeted about an open position at the company for associate technical director. So any of you out there listening who want to be a technical director, associate, go and apply. The ideal candidate will have experience with Unreal Engine 4 and 5. The post reads, "Come, join our team and work with us on the next Mass Effect game." Doesn't flat out confirm that the game will run on some form of Unreal Engine, but Jeff Grubb, who everyone knows is like the industry, like everyone tells him everything and then he leaks it to everyone, who was among the first to report that a Mass Effect will use the Unreal Engine, did follow up and say that it is Unreal Engine 5 specifically, which we all just played. The new Matrix Resurrections coming out on December 22nd, the movie, the family film. It's available on HBO Max and in theaters. It's a great thing for all of your family, and there's an experience, an Unreal 5 experience. We know it's going to be V-pretty, lots of good technologies in there that the whole family can enjoy. Everyone, the kids and the dog. And one
dog
cat
will love the Unreal Engine 5 Luminous system.
Yeah, and show him a bone on screen, crack somebody's arm off, and there you can see the tendons, the muscles, and the bone, and the dog's going to go crazy for that tibia. In related news, the games within the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, so that's the remakes that came out this year, ran on Unreal Engine 3, and then BioWare opted not to use Unreal Engine 4 for the re-releases. And then finally, Mac Walters from BioWare explained that BioWare chose to stick with Unreal Engine 3 to preserve the feel of the original 3 games for that release, rather than update them. So Unreal Engine 5, we know from, again, the Matrix thing, is going to be real good. And I cannot wait to see what space looks like on it. We've seen what deserty little pyramids ruins looks like. We've seen what Matrix looks like. What does the sky look like past Earth? Nobody knows except for those
new planets. I especially like the last part where they were, because BioWare has been owned by EA for a while at this point, which EA loves the Frostbite engine.
Yeah, they do.
Because like, we got our own engine, don't let us pay for the other ones. We don't want to do it. But they were like, yo, Mass Effect is Unreal, so we got to keep it. And the fact that the remake or the remaster of those old games stayed in the original engine, they're like, yo, we're not messing with it. That's what it was in. They're like, EA is like, yes, make your Mass Effect game in the engine that works best for you, which is good because it'll be great and it'll play great and they know what they're working with. And a game's going to be so good when it comes out in 5 years. That Splinter Cell same day going to come out, and it's going to be a wild day in the industry. But it's gonna be so pretty. It's gonna be so good, and I hope they get back to that classic Mass Effect feel, because that trilogy is fantastic. Andromeda's not that bad. People give it too much hate, but I want to get back to the original trilogy feel. That'll be real good.
Dope. Speaking of original trilogy, Ghostbusters game confirmed, says Jared Moore at IGN. We brought this up a couple weeks ago of just like actors just fucking totally leaking games.
Actors and musicians just do not care. They're like, yeah, we have to get
yeah,
it.
fuck. I did some recording for a game. Ernie Hudson, everyone knows him from Ghostbusters as Winston Zedmore, has confirmed that a new Ghostbusters game is, quote, definitely happening. There was a panel with Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel where Hudson just says, oh yeah, I got an email because we're doing another video game. They're scheduling it now to do the recording. I'm not too sure who's going to do it. I know me and Danny, and I'm not sure if Billy will do anything on it. So there will be another video game. When they bring it out, I don't know, but it's definitely happening. It's like, cool. NDAs are a thing, Ernie. I'm sure you signed one.
Not for Ernie Hudson. He don't have to do it, baby. I'm a Ghostbuster, damn it.
Freaking love it. As context here, also in October, Ilphonic Studio co-founder Raphael Sadiq casually revealed that his studio is working on a new Ghostbusters game, though there's nothing to suggest that necessarily this is the same thing that Hudson was talking about. So we'll see what comes to light of all. I also just love. I wish I was on like, the fact that he's just like, oh yeah, you know, Danny and Billy. Oh yeah, I don't know. Danny's gonna be on. I don't know about Billy. No one's ever fucking said Billy Murray, except for
only
Ernie
Ernie
Hudson.
Hudson can say it.
Only Ernie Hudson is allowed to call him Billy. I fucking love it.
Like, he just adds letters to their names. Danny and Billy. It's like, that's not our names. But we love you. Yeah, this is,
Sigourney Weaver.
I go roll Sigourney.
And roll Ricky Moranis.
Just adding Y's to everything. Yeah, we're getting 2 Ghostbusters game, it seems. Because, I don't think they're going to need VO and everything. This feels to me more like, so the Ghostbusters video game from 2009, 2011, whatever it was, which is awesome and is a direct sequel to the movies. This feels more like something like that than the Elphonic one, which is just going to be, a 4v1. Again, they're the company that made Friday the 13th, Predator Hunting Ground. You know what you're going to get from them. So we're going to get 2 Ghostbusters games, and like one's going to be probably story based, and the other one is just like have fun with your friends and kill a ghost. Look at Ghostbusters coming back. You know who saved the franchise? The son of the original director, can't remember his name, something Reichman, I think, and Paul Rudd. Everyone loves Paul Rudd. Andrew Reichman?
Is that it?
Maybe. It's the son of the dude who did the first 2. Is Jason his dad? I don't remember. But him and Paul Rudd, because Paul Rudd, everyone loves Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd made Ant-Man relevant.
Watching Paul Rudd walk through a Walmart, just bopping around, going to get some ice cream, was the freaking best part of that entire movie. And the whole movie was fantastic. But watching him just fucking boop over the ice cream, open up the freezer, and you're like, yeah, pick one up. Freaking loved it. Love Paul Rudd.
Think about it. We could get Billy, Ernie. That's probably why he calls everybody E, because his name's Ernie. Yeah. We can get Ernie, Billy, Danny, and what if Paulie shows up?
Paulie.
Oh, man. I love that game.
Yep. I love you for putting this in here. This is a direct callback for last week. You can hear Garfield scream as you punch him in the ass. I laughed out loud when I read this the first time today. This comes from Jared Moore at IGN. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, which again is the lesser version of the WB, what do they call it? Brawl Multiverses. That's it. Will soon add crossplay during an upcoming update. Additionally, it has been teased that voice acting is coming to the game, which is a big thing that they were missing compared to metaverses. During a recent Hungrybox stream, art director Diego Hernandez spoke about a number of announcements and requested features that are set to be added into the game in the coming months. And while the specific date has not yet been confirmed, explained that crossplay will be coming in Q1 2022. And the feature will also allow All-Star Brawl players who own the game across any of its other platforms, which is basically everything last gen and this gen except for new Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah.
To jump into battle against their friends regardless of whether or not they are playing on the same type of device. And then while Hernandez offered hard confirmation surrounding the arrival of crossplay into the game, it also appears that the game is set to add voice acting during a future update too. It's not officially confirmed, but he explained that there will be a popular fan-requested feature currently in the works by the development team. Quote, all I can say is that we've heard your requests, emphasis added by him, not me, and we are hearing what you're talking about. Again, emphasis added by him, not me. Can't wait to hear Garfield's reaction to me punching his asshole.
Oh, my ass. I hate ass punches. My ass.
My lasagna noodle butt.
Lasagna noodle butt. So, again, we like to make fun of this game because they don't have basic features. Now they're adding basic features. I hope Chris Pratt voices half the cast and they get the original actors for the other parts, because the guy who does Invader Zim, very successful voice actor. Cora is great. I like her a lot. I like all the Avatar people. And for people don't care about, like, Chris Pratt, he's confirmed as Garfield. Maybe this is his first appearance as Garfield.
Yeah. He's going to pay millions of dollars to go, ow, my lasagna noodle butt. And that's it. That's the only line he's going to record.
Just a one line every time you punch him. Ow, my lasagna noodle butt.
Yep. And every time he gets a super, I haven't played the game. I don't know if people get supers in that game. But like every time he just like becomes giant Garfield and goes, ow, my lasagna noodle butt, as he just destroys everything.
Wouldn't it be great if they're like adding voice acting and it was just like 3 lines repeated over and over?
And it's not even like the original actors. It's just like some guy in finance.
Oh, it's Ted. Ted's over there. He's an intern, and we need you to say my lasagna noodle ass a couple times for us.
Woo! Can't wait. We've now got a segment from Adam. A segment from Adam that involves money. Money, please. Money. Adam, what do we got?
This is what you've all been waiting for. We said at the top of the show, we've mentioned it multiple times. We're here to give you money for doing basically nothing. So listen up, everybody.
But it's a big deal to us.
It's huge.
It's huge. We care about it so much.
Jeff Keighley approved. Jeff
Keighley
approves
approved.
of it.
Keighley to Keighley.
He's all about it.
Gumble to gumble.
Jungle to jungle. So on Twitter, at Respawn Aimfire on Twitter, there's going to be a pinned tweet starting this moment because I'm about to hit send on the draft once I'm done talking because I can't multitask. And so in 2 weeks, the episode will be coming out January 4th on podcast services. The contest ends January 2nd at 8 p.m. because that's when we'll record the podcast more than likely. So you have until January 2nd to go to Respawn Aimfire on Twitter and reply to the pinned tweet. We're doing Game of the Year. Chad's going to have his top 5 list. I'm going to have my top 5 list. And here's what we're going to do. You have a chance to win free money. You're going to go in that pinned tweet on Respawn Aimfire on Twitter. And you're going to give us one submission of what you think our Game of the Year games are. And then the tiebreaker will be if you get the order right. So order them and put the games, one for Chad, one for me. And whoever gets the closest, again, by the number of games correct, and then the order as a tiebreaker, you will win a gift card of your choice to any, Nintendo eShop or Microsoft Points or, Sony Buckaroos or, what's that Steam place you're
Sony
talking
Buckaroos.
about?
That was right. Yeah.
No, the Steam place, the Steam house.
Oh, Steamworks.
Steamworks. Wherever you want, we're gonna give you some money as a gift card. One for Chad and one for me. So if you want a second entry, to improve your chances twofold.
Oh shit!
All you got to do is go on YouTube, type in Respawn Aimfire, and subscribe to the channel so we can try to get to 100 subs so we can get that custom URL. Just do a screenshot like, hey, I'm subscribed. Here we go. And then you can put your second choice under that. So you get a free one on Twitter. You subscribe on YouTube, give us proof. You get a second one. Guess our games, then put them in the order. And the winner will get a gift card to the online store of their choice at Respawn Aimfire on Twitter. It will be pinned in a matter of minutes. So when you're listening to this right now.
So Adam, let me get this straight. If I want to be entered into a chance to win one of these, I go to Twitter and I respond to the tweet and I say, all right, Chad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Animal Crossing. The Winds of Windsor, whatever that George R.R. Martin book is. All 5 of Chad's Game of the Years. What I think he's going to pick for Game of the Years in order, 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then I can do a second one for Adam. And I go and I say Mega Man X, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Love it.
That pair of shoes I saw once next to a mailbox on Rodeo Drive. And all of your games, 1 through 5. But if I go and subscribe on YouTube, I can just take a screenshot of that, tweet again, and this time maybe I'll put them in a different order, or maybe I'll pick some other games, and this time I'll say like, I don't know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory first, and then that pair of shoes on Rodeo Drive. That way I get better chances at winning 1 of 2 gift cards. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Double your chances just by subscribing on YouTube. It doesn't cost you anything. I don't care if you click the bell.
I don't care. I don't care if you're watching this right now on YouTube, although you're missing out if you're not. Just get us
this
that
is the one to
vanity
watch.
URL. Yeah, if you're going to watch one of them, I'm going to pull my wang out at the end of this. This is the one to watch.
So yes, do that on Twitter. Everyone enjoy it.
Dope. And again, we have till January 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern. That's the cutoff.
Yep, unless you decide to go earlier because you're rating.
Okay. That might be the case. Jericho's whole birthday week is taken off that first week of
Just
January.
do January 1st at midnight to be safe.
New Year's, yeah. And just, just do it right now as you're listening to it. Take a guess. All right. Dope. We'll again kind of like tweet about that, like maybe retweet the original tweet a couple times over the next 2 weeks so you have an idea of, so you're reminded about it.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Thank you, Adam, for that segment. That, since we already did Game on Game Show, brings us to the end of our podcast today. This is episode 238 of Respawn Aimfire, the Kick-Ass Irreverent Gaming Podcast from Affable Idiots. Again, aside from the homework we already gave you, go to patreon.com/respawnaimfire. Get yourself brand new wallpaper. We have new Halo Master Chief inspired wallpaper that is available for all of your devices. We've got a little Halo reflection in his visor, and in the background is like our little logo. You can see it. It's great. It's great. Go download that, put it on your device, and then go home and have sex with your partner in the daytime to feel powerful.
With the lights on.
While you leave your iPad open to the home screen so you can see Master Chief's visor with the lights on. Go do that. You can also vote on... I'm going to put out a poll this week because it is just about time for January to roll around. A poll this week for what our BARF games will be in January. That's Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends. So you tell us what we haven't played in our backlog that we would like to play, that we are going to play. Not only just us, but as a community. So you can write in and tell us all about your thoughts on it too.
Also, if you've played It Takes Two and want to talk about It Takes Two for this month's BARF with me,
oh yeah,
hit me up on Twitter. Hit up Respawn Aimfire on Twitter because I need people to talk about It Takes Two because next week we'll be releasing 2 BARFs in place of a normal episode.
I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. At least one. I'll be able
Maybe
to
we'll
get
at
mine.
least have an It Takes Two. We probably won't have a Ratchet and Clank by next week. But it might drop that first week of January.
Yeah, there we go.
Dope. Yes, reach out. Go. Papa John's. And with that, that's the end of our episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. This is our final episode for the whole year, so go enjoy your Christmas. I guess Christmas is the only one that's left because Hanukkah's over. So just go enjoy Christmas and New Year's. And go see The Matrix Resurrections on December 22nd on HBO Max and in theaters everywhere. And then separately go see The Kingsman on the same day, but again in different theaters from the rest of your family. Yeah. Until next time, here's our usual sign-off. Ow, my lasagna noodle butt.